All right. What is up? What is up? YouTube boxing family. It is I, KRod7435. Right back at you with another good boxing live stream show for you guys today. Or just sports show, if you guys want to call it like that. I'll be having BKFC professional fighter Howard Davis on the panel today. And he should be coming in very soon. So I'm just waiting up for him, and yeah, we'll get the show right up on the road today. So, yep, I'm just gonna wait for him and just wait for the you know person to come in. Session, well, more like bare knuckle fighting, but yeah, if you guys don't know who Howard Davis is, he's a very good fighter. He recently got into a really tough fight in his last outing that didn't go his way. But he's a really good talented fighter, BKFC fighter. I forgot what's his record. I'm gonna ask him that when he comes in, but yeah, I'm like really excited to talk with him. He definitely deserves his respects as a fighter. Has a lot of great skill. He has more of a professional boxer style, so he's out of Plantation, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Has a lot of skills. He's a heavy hitter, 6'2". He has a 77-inch arm reach. He has stacked attributes for his weight class. I think he fights at 140 something, or no. It was like, I know that he's like a super welterweight built fighter, but I think for BKFC, it's like MMA weight. So I want to say that's like maybe like what, 140 something. Yeah, the fight was scheduled at with him and Louis Lopez. That was his opponent that he lost to. That was at 145. So yeah, like I mean, that's not bad. I mean, he's actually pretty shredded. Coming into his fight. So he's a really big welterweight. So yeah, like it's pretty good that he's actually doing his thing, and he's coming in to BKFC with like a lot of athletic ability. I definitely like how he fights long, and he's very skilled with what he likes to do. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where he goes from here, because he has a pretty good career as far as where everything can be. All right, here he is. Yo, how's it going, Howard? I don't think I could hear you. I think can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, perfect. How's it going, Howard?
It's good. You?
Doing pretty good, man. Thank you for taking the time. Um, I wanted to ask, you know, like about everything what's going on with your career. How'd you get into bare knuckle fighting, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got into bare knuckle fighting through my coach Ryan Perez about a few years ago. There's going to be this, I guess it was a new promotion, and it just I got sanctioned in a few states and stuff like that. And at first, I was just a regular amateur boxer and just planning on going pro. But that route wasn't the best. Just starting off fresh boxing because I wasn't starting anyone and I didn't have a lengthy amateur background. So we went a different route with the bare knuckle fighting thing. Jared K. Gotti was the first one to step on the scene for us. It was supposed to be me, but my mom and the person I was dealing with at the time didn't want me doing that because I got kids and stuff. They thought it was too dangerous. So I ended up continuing boxing and eventually still ended up doing bare knuckle to start off anyway. So I just kind of like waited to see how Jared panned out in the sport and how safe it was and etc. stuff like that. So I got I got into it through that, but I've been fighting all my life, whether it be in school or out of school. So the bare knuckle thing never really like scared me. It was just like now you're doing it for money. So yeah, people train differently, and it's a professional sport. And you don't see fighters come over. You got boxers, ex world champions that come over, and people with more experience than me. So I took a risk, and it just paid off in a good way.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that because bare knuckle fighting is definitely like way different from the sport of boxing. But I was gonna ask about your boxing career. Like, was it just financial like barriers to like get in, so therefore you could start making more money as a professional fighter versus like in bare knuckle, like that had more money on the table for you to get into that career to expand your growth.
Uh, it was a bit of both. Like most boxers that start off don't usually make a lot of money unless they're signed to a big promoter and their contract is paying them every fight and stuff like that. If you're kind of independent and you just getting on small shows here and there, you can get paid $500, 1,000, like small stuff, and it's like you train 2 3 months for that fighter, whatever you do, and it's not worth it. If you're in certain situations that doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
they're not paying more outright in the beginning, so that was the route to go because my amateur career was good. I won a few belts, but I never traveled and went nationally and like the Olympics. Like I started boxing late. I probably started boxing at I want to say 22 or 23, or maybe even early 24. I'm not sure, but I'm 28 now. I've only been boxing a few years, so it's obviously people with way more experience than me and have made their name established in boxing, amateur wise and just in general. So yeah, I've been in the ring with a few champs and upcoming prospects, and I've been in there with Xander who fights for a top rank and he's a big prospect. I've been there with Aaron Ponte.
Oh
He fights
wow.
his yeah, I've been there with a few guys and I've done really good for my lack of experience because I'm just a natural born fighter, so I just had to learn boxing. I always loved it, but growing up, my parents weren't the type to put me in sports. So I only had one parent, I only had my mom, so I didn't have that father figure that pushed, the oh yeah, you got to be in sports and try this and try that. It was basically like you're gonna work and you're gonna work and you get a job. But I didn't want to do that because I see my mom do that and I had enough athletic ability to do something different and try to support my kids and my family in a different way rather than just working 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
I I took that leap of faith and things worked out and hopefully they continue to work out and I can make it big someday and make all this make sense and just take care of my family.
Yeah, that's a very interesting backstory because I'm like I got into boxing at 24. Like I'm 27. I'll be 28 in April. But I when I got into it, like I ran into like a lot of good fighters. Like I'm from Albany, New York, but I ran into like guys like Tony Marshall. He trained
Mm,
with Mike Tyson for 9 years. At that time frame. He's like a Guyanese fighter, I think, but he brought me into like the sport. I ran into Abraham Nova, who's
yeah,
a
Nova.
yeah, he's a beast. Yeah, but yeah, but I've like ran into a bunch of fighters, and I've just naturally like created like this natural bond,
Mm,
for like the sport. Because I used to wrestle back in high school,
yeah,
so I
I
think.
football.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, a standout at receiver, but the thing that I do now to stop me from going to a D1 college and just having my grades and stuff right. Like I used to just fight all the time and barely be in school, so I only got to play 1 year of high school football as my senior year, and I was really good. I went to FSU for a visit. I had letters from
Oh,
D1.
wow.
Yeah, so but at the ACT I didn't do the best, but I needed such a high score in the ACT because the what it's called the sliding little scale thing. That's like if you have a low GPA, you have to get a high ACT.
Yeah,
If
you
you
have to have
high,
the.
that it was like that. So it didn't pan out for me because I missed so much school and time. Just always fighting. Like I was never like not a smart kid. I just didn't notice stuff because I was never in school. So it's crazy how life works like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say like um I'm friends with Tim Witherspoon Jr. That's Tim Witherspoon Senior's son, and he was kind of telling me like the same thing of how a lot of fighters out of his area, out of Philly, they go through like the same thing too,
Yeah,
because they have so much talent, but the problem is the barrier to entry. If you're not gonna keep your education right, then that's like another big benefactor that holds you back as well.
yeah, it really does. It really does. And coming from just a single parent household and being my mother's middle child and just having a lot of like support issues. Like I didn't have the support in football, so I wasn't gonna have support in boxing. I kind of still don't have the full support in like boxing. She hasn't been to any of like my professional fights because I do bare knuckle. She really support that. She rather me box, but I don't have that luxury to have the choice of just to like get in the biggest boxing matches. Even though I have a big opportunity this year to box in like Dubai. One of my teammates on the Slaughterhouse team just fought in Russia, and they're throwing a card in Dubai, and he boxed, so he kind of got our foot in the door of that. So we were hoping things come together with that, and we get a few of our fighters that that come from a boxing background, but that do bare knuckle can go over there and get our name out there to the world, and people in Dubai and pick up some sponsorships, pick up a win, and just keep the train rolling.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. As far as like the how BKFC is as a whole, like, do you think that's a really good model for like what they're doing right now? Like, because like some people say like it's way too dangerous that the financial capabilities are not there, but like,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that your future is like a lot better with them?
They definitely help shape my future, and depending on how things go, if I stay committed and take less injuries or cuts and stuff like that, and I grab a belt and I fight another UFC person or something because I fought Jimmy Rivera, had tons more experience than me. I have the youth on my side and the physical advantages, but he has obviously the experience, and people don't understand how deep experience can take you, especially and it was somebody that has less than 10 fights and you have almost 40. So it's like they give me somebody else like that, or I get one of the big names and I fight them and win the belt or something. My pay raise can go up, and I don't have to fight bare knuckle. I can put money behind myself, and even if I want to start promotion and box under my promotion and try to be the A side in a lot of cases, and then still have to take B side fights because some people just have more rank under their name because of the promotion, how they're promoted and stuff like that in their accolades, whether it be inside the amateurs, the Olympics, or just the pro ranks. So it's just having the right people around me and the right managing. I could go far. I can be a world champion in bare knuckle and in boxing. It starts with me, and then like, I have to have the right people making the right choices around me and guiding me the right way and having my best interest. And we can do a lot of things because I have the talent and the ability to do it. It's just that everything has to like mesh the right way and just believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. I have a lot of respect for you for just even doing that because it's just like bare knuckle as an art. The boxing as an art has been around for such a long time,
Yeah,
and that's like predating back to like the ancient era back in like ancient Africa. But it's like leading up to now, like you see so much, I should say like so much different styles that people have developed over, like the course of time, and the fighters that are more slick, that are more dedicated to the sweet science, like those, like those fighters bring such a great expansion to the sport, and
yeah.
like I was gonna ask about your style, like how would you describe your style? Are you a boxer puncher? Are you like a mover? Are you like aggressive fighter? Like how would you describe yourself?
Um, to describe myself in my boxing style, like I would say I'm still finding it. I feel like it's certain things I can tweak and just want to stay one like path and just like I want to obviously be a boxer and be slick and stuff like that. I am to an extent, but it's like I guess being in bare knuckle kind of changed that because a lot of times I gauge situations wrong. Like certain situations, I don't flip the switch and go to boxer when I'm in the bare knuckle ring because the bare knuckle is more like it's a fight, but it's very weird. It's very different because obviously you don't have the gloves and cuts happen easier and just the circumference of your fist compared to the circumference of a glove and everything just a little different. So and then you have to pick and choose when you want to like box and you want to fight in bare knuckle. Like it's literally like on and off, just the switch. It's like sometimes I'm a fighter in there when I should be a boxer, and times that I'm a boxer in there, I should be a fighter. Like if I'm trying to box and dude's cutting off, we getting close, and then he makes it a fight. Like he's a shorter dude and he's holding it, like kind of what me and Jimmy went through. Like he grabbed me a lot and made it a close quarters fight, but in boxing, a real boxing match, they would have, made us break 50,000 times. They would have told him, stop holding and stuff like that. But in bare knuckle, it's not like that. If you're working in a clinch, and with bare knuckle, you can grab the back of somebody's neck and kind of pull them down into your punches. So it's like for a shorter fighter, that works in their advantage because they already have shorter arms and stuff like that. And usually the shorter fighters usually are the stronger fighters because they don't have to lose so much weight and stuff like that. Like me, I'm like 6'1", 6'2", losing 15, 20 pounds to fight at 145 when I mean, Jimmy was a bigger, like smaller dude, but it's other dudes that's an actual weight, so they're not really drained or losing power. I'm kind of sapping my power. So if I at the weight that I'm at, even though I get to rehydrate and stuff like that, it don't bring back my power like a snap of the fingers. I can't put on too much muscle during camp or I'm gonna be overweight. So it's like it's really different. Like with the so like basically to answer your question with the boxing, like yeah, I feel like in certain when I'm sparring and I'm doing certain things on the amateurs, I'm slick. I can move and get out the way. I can have defense, but a lot of times I get undisciplined in certain ways, and it makes me look like more of an aggressive fighter and just a puncher rather than a boxer. So I do have more experience fighting bare knuckle and just like basically street fighting than I have boxing. So I tend to back on that sometimes and just rely on my power to end things when I can just literally use my length, use my jab, set things up, and just have patience. Like boxing has taught me a great deal on patience and just seeing stuff rather than just doing things without reason, like throwing punches without reason and not bringing your hand back. And you pay for certain stuff in boxing. It's the slightest thing, like you said, it's the sweet science. It's dated back to thousands of years, and like people really study it. So you have to play catch up in a sense when you're in my shoes, and sometimes you adapt faster to certain things than others. But yeah, that's how I can best answer that question.
Yeah, because that's why that I wanted to bring that up with you because I think with bare knuckle, like people compared to uneducated casuals in boxing, they say when you box somebody you're boring, but in bare knuckle that's way more riskier. But on top of that, when you outbox somebody, you're actually getting a lot more success in those fights because what's shown in a lot of fighters that do bring like the sweet science of boxing in a bare knuckle fight, it's still like the same principle. But I think like to the masses, like do you think more people expect you to knock somebody out coming into like a bare knuckle fight, or do you see yourself just going in, try to get the win, and then just come out with like the least amount of damage as possible?
The fans definitely expect a knockout. Everybody wants a knockout. Everybody wants to show. Everybody wants a slugfest. Nobody really wants to sit there and watch a boxing. If I want to be honest, like they don't care about the slipping or something like that. Like when I was about to fight Jimmy Rivera, I keep bringing up, but it's the most relevant thing I have to say because this is like the height and reach and everything like that. And I could have boxed him all day long and not made it a fight. Just stay on the outside and stay back, and it would have just been a not engaging fight. Um, the chairman of Bare Knuckle told my coach, said, please tell Howard not to go out there and make it a boring fight and just boxing. Like the sport is called bare knuckle fighting, not bare knuckle boxing. So I want to fight. I wanted to be, this is a a big name. I wanted to be entertaining. So that in my mindset makes me more subjective to going in there and brawling and fighting, trying to engage the fight, insinuate the fight, and just make it happen, which I did. And if you go back to the film, you watch it, like he's several inches shorter than me, reach several inches shorter, but the whole fight I was walking him down, coming in, like I didn't have to do that. I could have stayed on my back leg, moved around, switched around. And in a sense, if you watch the fight, we switched roles. What he did is what I was supposed to be doing. He stayed back, he circled. He wasn't engaging too much. He only engaged when I engaged or try to counter, but he was not coming forward. And you expect the smaller guy to come forward because that's how he close off that distance and get his shots inside and do the dirty work. But I was coming forward the whole fight. I didn't have to do that. I could have stayed back, chilled. Would have been a boring fight. Probably would have got a knockout. You never know. Or I just would have just outpointed him like what Mayweather do most of his opponents. But like I said, it's told by the man himself to make it a fight. So I'm like, hey, and my coach was like, if you knock this dude out, your name will go up and all this stuff like that. So even with my injuries to my hand, I almost put out a fight a few times, but I just went through it and tried to be resilient and just do like I've always done and just push through the pain and fight. And that's what happened because I've been in amateurs fighting for like the national sugar bird, and I hurt my hand on the first day to the point that I think I broke my hand. I had to ice it, and the next day I fought and won a belt, and medal, and stuff like that. So, I know how to push through the adversity and stuff like that. So that's just what I did, and it wasn't the smartest choice because maybe I didn't have to get surgery if I didn't fight Jimmy. Maybe I could just let my hand heal naturally because now after the surgery, my hand isn't really the same. Like surgery is definitely different when you get it done on something that has so much nerves and something that you do that you fight with. So it's just stuff panned out good, stuff panned out bad, but I can't dwell on it. I'm just ready to move forward.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that because I assume that the level of injury is way worse in boxing because like you're not going through like the cumulative factor of being injured from a boxing match versus bare knuckle. Like you could basically hit anywhere on the body, and you're basically like going in to do damage rather than just going in there trying to outpoint somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna ask like about your campaign for your weight class. Like, what's like the plan for you to get up into your career and try to gain certain goals for your legacy, right?
Yeah. Um. Right now, my goals are my first goal is to just it's not all about money. I love boxing. I love fighting. I'm just a fighter of life, but it's to obviously be financially stable to take care of what I need to take care of, and that being my kids. So that's the first thing. If I make the most money and never become a world champion, that's okay with me because I didn't grow up or get in the sport to just immediately, I want to be a world champion. That's my single goal. Yes, it'll be nice and I strive for it, but that's not my main goal. My main goal is to use my abilities to provide, and that's what I want to do first and foremost. So if I become a world champion in the process of that, because I obviously don't want to lose. I want to train my ass off, and it's cool getting the notoriety, the accolades, and making that the hard work that you put in pay off and get your end goal. So definitely want to be a champion at the 145 weight class in bare knuckle, and maybe even like 155 too. But in boxing, I can fight at super welterweight, or what they call it, junior middleweight.
Yeah, super welterweight or middleweight.
So at 154, I can fight at that. Compete in that, I can compete at just welterweight 147. I've just been thinking about how I make my weight for the bare knuckle fights at 145. I always come in under. I came in at 143, 142. So it's like if I really wanted to in boxing, I could probably go to 140 and fight at 140, and that'd just be so many advantages.
Oh yeah.
To me. Exactly.
Yeah, like we need you. I need you to knock out Teofimo Lopez for me if you could do that.
You know, He's crazy because he's a Florida native, even though
Yeah, he claims to
he
say he's from
represents,
New York, but he's really not.
yeah, he represents Brooklyn. But he they told me he grew up in the amateur circuit and stuff down here in Florida, but he don't say nothing about it. But everybody's different. If you want to talk about his roots more than actually where he got the boxing from, that's him. No dig at him. I don't know how the whole thing go with that. We could be wrong, we could be right. I don't care. But if I fought him in the future, that'd be dope because he definitely worked hard and accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. He has skill, he has power. And I don't back down for no fight. It's just if I get the opportunity, to train my ass off, train different, and know what I'm coming in to bring. People may sleep on me because of my last technical loss over a cut, but if people
Yeah.
like go by that and don't watch film and sleep on me because I got stopped by doctors, I mean that'd be their downfall because all it takes is one hit for me, and somebody can go to bed. So and vice versa. So I'm very keen on that. I can take a punch, obviously being the bare knuckle, and I can deliver nasty knockouts being the bare knuckle. So I think that gives me advantages when I go to boxing because it's not like I'm going to be prone to getting hit and want to get hit, but I know I can take a hit in 8 ounce gloves, 10 ounce gloves because I've fought a pro boxing match already in 8 ounces. I know how it feels. It's not to me. It's not comparable to bare knuckle because like you say, you can hit anywhere in the body and just bone on bone. That type of like I don't know. It's like pressure. That type of how it hits. For a lot of boxers, like they won't get in bare knuckle. Like you ask Earl Spence or somebody, and that's like one of my favorite boxers. He probably be like, hell no.
Yeah,
Tank,
EJ is the truth, man.
yeah, he's definitely true. Tank Davis came down here and he was training at my gym. I was at him.
Really?
Yeah, I was at Joseph
What?
Carter Park. I got pictures with
Wow.
Tank Davis, and I was training right beside him. And,
Yo, Gervonta's a monster, man. I
oh,
love
he's a
Tank,
monster.
bro.
Yeah,
Bro.
to me, he's one of the best. Even though people like say he didn't fight nobody and all that sort of that, like people realize see his power, but they don't see like
Yeah, they
his
don't
talent
see.
with
Yeah.
boxing. Right? They don't see the slickness. They don't see the defense. The defense is great. And it's like I don't know what people be saying, but people are they're critics in their own way. But yeah, he came down and my coach like said something about to think like, oh yeah, these are my bare knuckle fights, and they were like bare knuckle, and like they was so surprised there. And like my coach like, you want to get into it, and like Toronto looked at my coach like, you trying to set me up, like basically like like he like he kind of
Yo,
got
Coach
aggressive,
Calvin
like, but
Ford
he
be
like
like,
my coach like
nah.
nah like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you box all your life, you take out the gloves is like a to like a bad thing. Like once we go ahead and register our hands as amateurs and then the pros, we're not supposed to fight with our bare knuckles. So we so used to the glove on. So to think that they have sanctioned fighting with professional athletes that can box, fighting bare knuckle it seems so dangerous. Like Austin Trout is about to fight February, and he fought Canelo Alvarez in boxing. He's a former world champion. So for him to come down to bare knuckle and fight somebody from the UFC, you don't expect
Yep.
it to go how it's going to go, but UFC guys got their advantages because bare knuckle was kind of more in the sense of UFC rather than boxing in a lot of ways with the clinching and the fact that UFC fighters wear like 4 ounce gloves, so they don't really have to make a huge adaptation to like their hands because their gloves are so small and their hands already are at that speed. With bare knuckle and boxing, we fight with 8 ounces the smallest, but usually we spar 16 ounces and you hit in the bag and such like with 14s, you may hit the midst with 8s and 10s, but to have no glove on at all, it kind of I don't know if it messes up your time and your speed, but it's like you have to really gauge certain stuff different. So that's what Austin tries to do when he come in. Even though he probably fought obviously just like me, his life fought in the street, but he's so used to doing the boxing and doing the Philly shell and certain stuff in boxing like that certain stuff like that doesn't work inside bare knuckle. And if it does, it can hurt way more than what you think just because the impact of a glove and the impact of bare knuckles on your shoulder multiple times or hitting your elbow or hitting your neck. It's different. It's really different.
Yeah, I agree because when I did wrestling, they have the same similar grappling tactics where in wrestling you're not supposed to put somebody's head down when you're trying to grapple somebody. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
people do I don't know if you see it, but I see a lot of fighters put their head down playing a lot of dirty tactics like that, where they're trying to hold your head down while they're hitting you, and
Yeah.
in boxing,
Yeah.
yeah, in boxing that's illegal. Like you can easily get DQ'd, but
Mm-hmm. People still do it for sure though. If you get away with it, like they'll minimalize it, but it's no dirty tricks in boxing. That fighters and coaches work on it because they know they fighting the dirty fighters. Sometimes you gotta get a little dirty too. So I see heads get pushed now. I see people aim for that hip shot and like digging in all types of stuff. So
yeah. Um, I was gonna ask like about like your physique as like as a fighter, like um as far as like boxing goes, like do you think as far as like the build that you bring to the table in bare knuckle, like converted to boxing, like what fighter in your division do you kind of see yourself on that level of like, if he was in my weight class, I know that I could like clip this guy in my division. Like, do you have those type of like thoughts about those fighters that are doing good in boxing now that that you could potentially defeat?
oh, okay, yeah, I understand. I mean, so yeah, it's a long shot, but one person I see that like I see my body and style matching up good with his, and I see how he fight, just the aggression. Like sometimes he gets out of his box and then he just want to like knock shit out and like fight is the smaller Charlo that fights at
Oh,
gym.
Jermel Trello.
Yeah, I can see me like that. Like he has boxing, he can box, but sometimes he's a very emotional person, so he fights a lot of times. And it's his downfall. Like the first time he fought Tony Harrison.
Yeah,
Tony
Tony
Harrison
Harrison.
outboxed him, and then the second time it was really close. I don't know if I had Tony up, but Tony was doing like a lot of playing and shit, and then he got caught, and that's all she wrote. Even though he didn't look like he was fully out of there. The ref stepped in once they seen Jamel kept putting on pressure, but it's like if I had a style, think somebody I'll fight like it'll be him because we're both orthodox. We both power punchers, but like I say, he has a lot of boxing behind him. He's been boxing longer, but the style and somebody I see that if they was to come in or like I was going boxing, like I feel like that'd be like good, like because we kind of got the same like mentality in a sense.
Yeah, another fighter that I think would definitely mesh with your style. I'm just playing theoreticals, but I think you and Erickson Lubin would be a really good fight.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was supposed to go spar him because we both live in Florida. His gym
Oh,
isn't
nice.
too far from his gym isn't too far from mine. And I was gonna go and like we were supposed to bench spar when I had my first professional boxing fight, but we never got to link up. We probably still link up sooner or later, but I don't know if I ever get to fight him. But it'll be a pleasure because he's accomplished a lot in his career. Down here in Florida and amateurs and also in the pro ranks. So it's like I definitely see that. I definitely can see that. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I think what the problem with boxing is that people don't want to entertain like the really good fights in boxing, and they just think
Mm-hmm.
that whenever the best fight the best, they think that, oh nah man, like this guy's going to lose to that guy, but it's like you don't know until they fight, and it's like let the fans try to shrug that away. But I mean, in
Mm-hmm.
BKFC, like everyone likes it, and everyone's actually flourishing a lot with it because it's like
Yeah.
every fight card that's being put out there, like I don't know if you can like agree, but they're very unpredictable. It's just like absolute,
They are.
yeah.
It's just like you have somebody who be like, damn, when was they fighting now? When did he sign the bare knuckle? Like, damn, this is lit. The boxing star and the UFC star fighting. There's two guys that you would never think of. So it's like their signs are really good, and people taking the chance. They see the sport growing. Bare knuckle has the money and the platform to show a different side of people, a different side of the warrior. You'll see some people that have good stand up game when it comes to bare knuckle and just make it dirty, make it gritty fight. And some bosses want to test their hands outside of the gloves. They got the power, they got the skill. Their hands to be faster and stuff like that. But it's advantages and disadvantages and everything. So a lot of boxers' hands are messed up because of boxing. Because believe it or not, people think that bare knuckle is way more, worse than boxing. But statistically and the research they've done, boxing is worse because you take more punishment. Bare
Yeah,
knuckle, you don't get knocked the
cumulatively.
fuck out. Yeah, bare knuckle, you don't get knocked the fuck out. You just gonna get knocked the fuck out because the blunt force and things. But people legit take the boxing because it's like I guess it's a little padded. Yes, it still hurt like a motherfucker, but you so used to it doing it sparring, doing it years, so it just accumulates. And that just you taking more hits, more hits, more hits, more hits, and then in boxing you have this comfortability because you have the glove on that you can punch through a cement wall and nothing will get hurt. And bare knuckle, not everybody fights like that. And maybe nobody fights like that because it's a danger and risk of where you land. You can hurt yourself more than you can hurt the other person. So it's like you're not. I mean, I feel like you're more cautious because you know you can break something. You can, hit an elbow. You can do a lot of things that can lead to very serious injuries and layoffs. In boxing, people go out and throw their hardest punches because they know they have that glove on and they got some type of protection. So I feel like a lot of bare knuckle fighters don't always try to hit their hardest unless they know they got a clean shot. Because if you miss, are you landing the right, wrong spot, the top of the head, the back of the head, your hand can instantly break. So it's a lot of different things.
Yeah, I was also gonna add in, like, besides from, the risk of injury, like, people that do try to cheat in boxing compared to bare knuckle, like, you really can't go through like the motion of try to tamper anything, with like a bare knuckle versus like in the ring, like you don't know, how that person's gloves being manufactured because,
Oh
for
yeah, true, true,
yeah,
true.
because like for certain manufacturing companies like Everlast, all these companies, right? Like they have like a certain manufactured setup with like a glove that you could skin. So like I'll even use Terrence Crawford for example. Like his glove was already ripped open at the start of the fight with David Avanesian, and
Mm,
Everlast said that they don't have gloves like that being manufactured out to let the person that buys it, but that's not true because it's like there could always be like a faulty system of like trying to manufacture like the glove a certain way to make sure that like the
yeah.
certain skinning from like the
Mm.
outside portion to be like a lot lighter.
Oh yeah,
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 so
yeah. I get
like
you saying.
uh,
Even the inside, they
yeah,
take the padding out and
other
make it to the
fighters
knuckle.
other fighters like Amir Khan had even stated that you can make a certain customization of your glove for you to hit harder, on the front,
Hmm.
and then most of what the padding can be pushed out to the back, and then
Exactly.
you could also manipulate like the thumb too, to like to make like the impact more stronger. But
Hmm.
yeah, like I think bare knuckle definitely proves up the science to be a lot more safer. But you still have to be careful with like how you set up your shots, right?
Exactly. Got to be very calculated, and a lot of people are not. Like I said, it's a fight. Turns into a brawl a lot of times, and just when you get in there and you're a boxer, all the pretty stuff usually sometimes don't work, but it can't work for you. You're a slick enough boxer, you got the way in. They got that one guy Tyranny. He boxes well in it, even though he still gets caught. I think he's been knocked down. He's been bloody a few times, so it's hard to get away from every single punch because the punches are coming faster. They're coming in bunches. They're not always the most educated punches. So if you are a pure boxer and you see a punch being thrown this way or looking this way, these are guys that sometimes never even boxed before. Or they fight UFC, so their styles and their punch placement is totally different. So it's something that you definitely have to get used to because you're so used to a jab coming straight and this coming like this, but you fight a certain type of fighter and all that should be weird. What the hell? When did I get hit with this? Like, cause you're not like expecting it. Like your eyes open, but you expecting this punch to come out differently. If you don't understand this, because you know how hook supposed to look, how uppercut supposed to look, how straight right supposed to look. And when this shit come out looking awkward or like it's like the awkwardness, it can be an advantage to some people.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you two last questions, and then I'll definitely get up out of here.
All right.
My first question is as far as your venues for BKFC that you would like to fight, where would they be, and what type of market base are you trying to get to elevate your career? And then the second question is like, before it's all said and done, what influence do you want to bring out to your fans and audience that looks up to you, and what do you want to like accomplish, before like you decide to retire.
All right, let me answer the first question first, and you can answer. Let me ask me the second one again because I gotta try to remember.
All right,
But
yeah.
it's like the venues, Madison Square Garden or
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Yep.
Hops London, or maybe Las Vegas where Floyd fights a lot at the MGM and the MGM Grand and stuff like that. Like those arenas and stuff that'd be cool. Or even like the UK, the old tour, they had something eventually big in Jamaica that I can go over there and fight in front of my people. So it's a few places that if it happens, it'd be nice. And the audience I'm trying to reach is people just like me, underprivileged, came from the struggle, and you're trying to make a better way. You're trying to go a different route than what your parents have went or the people you've seen before you, whether they are in jail or they're dead. Just show that it's a different way to go about life and chasing your goals and your dreams. And if it's if you have the will, it will always be a way that you can get to the place you want to be, regardless if it's always all the way at the top, in the middle, or you just tried it, but at least you don't die with regrets. Try any and everything that you want to. If your heart, can will it, you should be able to believe in yourself and do anything that you want to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, like it's kind of ironic that you say that because Tim Witherspoon Jr. said the same thing to me in the past. But yeah, like I think you and Tim would definitely have a good conversation together. um, but
Gotta see him one day.
yeah, I was also gonna say like BKFC in Jamaica and the Caribbean would be lit because
Yo,
I,
it
I would
would,
I would
man.
I would I would
They,
seriously love that.
yeah, me too. That would definitely be something, but it just got to be the fan base. The fan base, they got to see that the people want it and see that it'll thrive over there. Like, I'm doing we're doing the BKFC tryout on the 29th at Delray Boxing Gym, and people want to come from all over, but that's down in Florida. Like other places, people fight. Like it's a lot of people that love the bare knuckles scene, and I saw that when I wore the Jamaican flag shorts that one fight when I fought Josh Wright. I had some big support. A lot of people would come and support me, so I definitely like that. So, but you just have to have the money and the means and take that leap of faith and see if it'll work. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think it'll definitely be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Because I just recently moved out to Florida from Albany, New York. So,
Hmm.
like I like to go to your fight definitely. If BKFC has another event in Tampa, and then I'll meet up with everyone there. I could do that.
So
Yeah. Um. y-
that'll be so.
Yeah. The last question I was gonna close out is, what do you want to bring to your fans and audience? When it's all time to retire and bring out the influence for your career.
Um, After retirement and stuff like that, I just want people to remember me from like for being that fighter that never said no to a contract, never said no to a appointed person that didn't have any fear when it came to another man. Like I don't care about name, stature, who you're supposed to be. Like I went out there and fought any and everybody with what I had, and I didn't make no excuses for it, regardless if I had shortcomings or not in certain ways. I went out there and fought my heart out every time, and I gave the fans exactly what they came for: a fight, a boxing match, whatever I'm in and what I'm doing, my style. I don't want to be that person that entertained the fans and no, I put it all on the line every time I step in that ring, and I never have to ask it in practice or leading up to the fight because I wanted to please my fans and show them that if you work hard, that anything is possible.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I always like talking to people that are like that. I think that's very important outside of any sport, and that should always be like applied to everyday human life. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I appreciate the conversation, my brother, and hopefully we
appreciate you
could.
too, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Like I like to do this again. Let me know when your next
Mm.
fight is, and I'll, definitely help you out in any way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a blessed day.
Yep. Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to Mr. Whatchamacallit, Howard Davis. Very nice person, very, down to earth individual. So had a really good time talking with him. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys soon on the next one. And here's the outro. Peace out. Salute to the mighty, mighty LDBC TWT. I will not be gone. I will have another fighter coming on. That's Mr. Derek Diesel Jackson. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.